Good afternoon. I'm 14 First Alert meteorologist Arden Gregory here with your 2:30 streaming update today. We're going to do all weather today as we've got some big changes on the way this weekend. This is a live look at the Evansville riverfront, kind of partly to mostly cloudy skies overhead there. We do have some big changes on the way over the next 24 hours or so. Today is kind of our last day in this rather long stretch of much above average temperatures. We've had highs in the 80s basically all week long, and we're going to do it one more time today. Then we've got a cold front coming in tonight into tomorrow. That does mean tomorrow will be rather rainy. Showers are likely, some thunderstorms are possible. Then even after the cold front moves out and sunshine returns, that cooler weather is still going to hang around into the start of next week. So it's going to be, nearly 20 degrees cooler, going from highs in the low to mid 80s today to just the mid to maybe upper 60s at best as we go through the weekend. Now, some of you already saw some rain earlier this morning. We had just some very isolated showers roll through the tri-state earlier today. It was pretty spotty. Not everyone got that rain, but I will tell you the rain that moved through Henderson this morning was actually pretty heavy. Those showers worked their way off to the east pretty quickly. By about 10-11 a.m. we were pretty much dry, and then we've just kind of had this mix of sun and clouds through the rest of the day today. This is a look at satellite and radar right now. All that white you see, those are the clouds. The gray is the base map there. So you can see kind of a mix of sun and clouds overhead, but no rain to speak of in the tri-state right now. We're probably going to stay dry through the rest of this afternoon and evening, and even into the first part of the night. Then late tonight, that cold front starts to come in from the northwest, and it's bringing with it rain. This should start out pretty scattered early on. Rain will start to move into southeast Illinois probably around 11 o'clock or midnight, somewhere late tonight, and then we'll just have these very scattered rain chances through the overnight hours. Then the more widespread rain that starts to push in from the west as we get into early Saturday morning. So closer to 5 or 6 a.m. we start to see this widespread heavier rain pushing into the tri-state, and then it spreads from west to east across our region as we go through Saturday morning. So tomorrow morning everybody is going to get some good soaking rainfall. We may also have a few thunderstorms in the mix. That widespread and potentially heavy rain will then work its way off to the east by about 10 or 11 a.m. But it doesn't mean we're done with the rain. It's just going to be a bit more scattered, kind of on and off rain then as we go through the afternoon and evening. But showers and even a few thunderstorms still possible all the way up through Saturday evening. Then this rain finally starts to push off to the southeast Saturday night. The rain will clear first, then the clouds will follow as we go through the overnight hours Saturday night. And by Sunday morning, we've got lots of sunshine in the forecast, but behind that cold front, it will still be noticeably cooler. As for our thunderstorm chances, notice we're kind of right at the southeastern edge here of an area that could maybe see a isolated, stray, strong to severe storm. Overall, our threat of severe weather is very low. This cold front is located off to the west today, bringing potential severe weather from places like Michigan and Minnesota and Wisconsin, all the way down through the Midwest and all the way into Texas. The greatest threat of severe weather seems to be from about western Missouri near Kansas City down into Kansas and northern Oklahoma there, where they have that level 4 threat for widespread severe storms. But as this whole thing pushes to the east, it is expected to weaken quite a bit as it approaches the tri-state. So rain, certainly, thunderstorms, definitely a possibility, but severe weather seems unlikely by the time it gets to us. Then as we roll things over from Friday night into Saturday, it seems any stronger storms on Saturday will probably be more to the east-northeast of the tri-state. And once again, here at home, we're outlooked for just general kind of run-of-the-mill thunderstorms. So don't be caught off guard if it gets a little breezy, maybe get some heavy rain, hear some rumbles of thunder. But we're not expecting any kind of damaging, severe weather and things like that. It doesn't seem like it's going to be in the cards for us this time around, mainly because of the timing. These storms that are fired up off to our west this afternoon, once the sun goes down, they start to lose some energy. Things will weaken as we go through the night tonight. That cold front will move through the tri-state Saturday morning, and then as it pushes off to the east into the afternoon Saturday, start to get a little more energy again, things fire up a little stronger off to our east. So because that cold front's going to be moving through Saturday morning, for us, I really think the chances of severe weather seem very low. Checking in on the comments here, good afternoon, Jeanette, Suzanne, Zach, and Jeff. Zach is asking about severe weather, if widespread severe weather is expected today. Not for us. There is the chance that they could see numerous or even widespread severe storms off to our west in places like Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and then maybe even north of there up into places like Iowa and Wisconsin. But really, the chances of severe weather here locally in the tri-state are very low. We are going to get some good soaking rainfall. Most of us are probably going to land somewhere right around a ½ inch of rain from this, give or take, just kind of depending on if you do get caught in a thunderstorm with some heavier rain. But overall, this is going to be very beneficial rain. I know the day of the week that it's falling on is not ideal. There's a lot happening. We've got Tri-Fest in Henderson. We've got the Autism 5K in Evansville. There are proms happening tomorrow. People want to go outside and take pictures and things like that. But we do need the rain. We'll take every drop we can get because drought is getting worse across the tri-state. Everyone is now in at least abnormally dry conditions, which is kind of the precursor to drought, and many parts of Illinois and western Kentucky are now in moderate drought, and parts of western Kentucky down into Hopkins, McLean, Ohio, and Muhlenberg counties are even getting into severe drought now. So we desperately need some rain. It's just unfortunate that it's going to fall on a Saturday when so many folks have plans, but we're not expecting severe weather from this. Checking in on the comments again real quick here. Carolyn's asking about timing. This rain's going to move in Saturday morning, and you have chances of rain on and off all day Saturday, Carolyn. So Saturday morning is the most likely time that we will see rain, but there are chances all the way through Saturday afternoon and evening. So no matter what time of day on Saturday, if you have outdoor plans, you need to either bring a rain jacket or be prepared to cancel or move things inside, because there's a good chance you are going to see rain on and off throughout the whole day on Saturday. This cold front, not just bringing us rain, also bringing a huge change in our temperatures. We have gotten very accustomed to the 80s around here, and we're going to get a reality check that it is still April. It is currently 81 degrees in Evansville and Newburgh, 82 in Owensboro, Henderson at 83 degrees right now. Our winds are still coming from the south, not as breezy as it was earlier in the week, but still that southerly breeze helping to pull that warmer air up into the tri-state. If you are headed out to Tri-Fest, it starts tonight in Henderson. It's going on right now. Temperatures will probably climb into the low to mid 80s. I think we may tack on just another degree or two this afternoon. It will be partly to mostly cloudy, but we do have that southerly breeze pulling that warmer air in. And then this evening, they're doing the drone show there tonight at 9, and temperatures will probably start to drop into the mid to upper 70s by that time. So overall, pretty good weather for Tri-Fest tonight, this afternoon and evening. Pretty good weather for Tri-Fest. Tri-Fest goes all weekend though, and as I just mentioned, Saturday not looking so great. Overnight tonight, mostly cloudy. That rain starts to move in mainly after midnight tonight, kind of scattered at first, becoming more widespread then as we get into tomorrow morning. Notice our wind direction here. Still coming from the south overnight tonight, but then tomorrow morning that cold front's going to move through and our wind direction changes. And throughout the day on Saturday then, not only do we have plenty of rain and even a few thunderstorms, we also have cooler air flowing in from the northwest. So our temperatures are going to fall back into the upper 50s to low 60s by the end of the night tonight, but then they basically don't go anywhere. With that cooler air and the rain coming in, we just kind of hold steady in the 60s then throughout the day on Saturday. Saturday night will drop back into the upper 30s to low 40s. Clearing skies Saturday night, lots of sunshine then as we get into the start of next week. But notice this cooler weather hangs around for a while. We're still talking about highs only reaching the mid to upper 60s Sunday and Monday. Then we start to warm back up into the lower 80s again by the middle and second half of next week. If you need to get out and mow your grass, today seems like a perfectly fine day to get that done. It is partly to mostly cloudy, but it looks like we're probably going to be dry through the rest of the day today. Tomorrow is the rainy one, so don't plan on mowing on Saturday. Sunday and Monday, it will be much cooler. Some of you may prefer that. Temperatures will be topping out in the 60s, but it will be dry and sunny, so perfectly good weather for any kind of activities you need to get done out in the yard. Another good thing about this rain is it's going to help wash away some of that pollen. Everything is blooming right now. There's pollen everywhere. You've probably noticed the kind of yellow coating developing on a lot of our cars and whatnot, just that dust out there. The pollen count is very high today. It has been all week. That rain tomorrow is going to help wash some of that pollen away, wet it down, wash it out of the air, wash it off of the cars and things like that. So that is going to pull the pollen count down for a day, and then the plants are going to say, oh yay, rain, and everything blooms and goes crazy again, and the pollen count goes sky high again by the start of next week. Speaking of plants, I have had some people asking me about frost and freeze. Are we done with it? Are we not done with it? Well, the warmest temperature generally where you can still manage to get some frost is about 36 degrees. So just you have to have other elements in play here, right? The right conditions to get frost. But just looking specifically at how late in the year can it still get down cold enough to frost? The earliest we've ever seen our last frost was in 1912 on March 25th. The latest we've ever had frost is all the way up to May 27th, though. That happened in 1961. So never say never, but you can see pretty consistently it's usually sometime around the middle of April. So around this time of year, we typically see our last frost of the season. We did have a little bit of frost early last week. I think it was back on the 6th or so when we had that brief cool down there early last week. It's very possible we have already had our last frost of the year, but again, never say never. I don't have any frost in the forecast through the next 7 days, but typically around this time of year, you've still got about a 45–50% chance of seeing at least one more frost before all is said and done. The general rule of thumb is typically that we're done with frost by Mother's Day. I think Mother's Day, it changes every year. I think it's on May 10th this year. But still, that gives you some idea. There's a pretty slim chance of getting any frost beyond that point. Freezing temperatures, odds are we're already done with those for the year. The latest we've ever hit freezing, though, is all the way up to May 10th. So again, you can always have that one-off cold snap, but typically we hit our last freezing temperatures of the year sometime around the first week or two of April. So statistically speaking, we're most likely done with that. You really see, freezing temperatures still pretty likely all the way through the month of March, and then this huge drop as we go through the month of April. And by the end of April, we're essentially done with any chance of freezing temperatures. So since we don't have any freezing temperatures in the forecast over the next week or so, I would say odds are we're probably done with freezing. There's a good chance we're even done with the frost, but I would never rule out at least one more late season cold snap as we get toward the end of April and into May. So can't promise anything, but so far the trend this spring has been very warm. Of these first 17 days, we'll tack on today here as well, of these first 17 days of April, we have hit the 80s on 10 of them. That is uncommon. Typically, our highs this time of year are in the 60s. We also have not seen much rain this month. That's why I'm, saying I know it's going to mess with a lot of people's plans, but honestly, I'm grateful for the rain tomorrow. We need it. We have only had about a ½ inch of rain so far this whole month, and most of that fell nearly 2 weeks ago when we had another rainy Saturday back on the 4th. So moving forward here, looking at the overall stats, we are running well below average on our precipitation, both for this month and for the year as a whole. It has really been a pretty dry year so far. I mean, typically this time of year, we're talking about river flooding and things like that. That's just not happening. It's very dry. Instead, we're talking about drought. Now, it's not uncommon for us to get an occasional drought here in the tri-state, but usually you see that creeping in kind of toward the end of summer, early fall. You don't typically see drought in April. So that has me concerned for how that could get worse as we get into the summer and fall. Our average temperature, by the way, running 11 degrees warmer than normal so far for the month of April. So no surprise with the warm, dry weather. As I said, drought is getting worse. I mentioned that before. If you take any, consolation out of it, it's not just us. I don't know that that's consoling me at all, but it's not just us. We're certainly not alone in this. There's even extreme to exceptional drought across much of the south and western parts of the U.S. We ran some stories just earlier today on 14 First Alert at noon about how many problems they're running into down in the southeast in places like the Carolinas and Georgia and Florida, where, they're trying to plant and literally can't even get their plants in the ground because the ground is so incredibly dry that nothing will grow in it. So really concerning issues there for farmers in places to our south and west where the drought is even worse. Checking the comments one more time. Calvin asking about tomorrow's rain. I will circle back on that timing one more time for you for those of you who may have missed it in the beginning. We do have, as I said, good soaking rainfall, probably around a ½ inch of rain on the way tomorrow. We do badly need it. That also comes with a cool down. Highs will be in the 60s through the next 3 days. So if you're a fan of the 80s, soak it up today. It'll be the last time we see it for a few days. Those 60s, though, that's actually closer to normal for this time of year. That's what it should feel like in April. But we warm things right back up into the upper 70s and low 80s from the middle through the second half of next week. Looking beyond that, it does seem like we may have some rain on the way again next weekend. The extended outlook does show, as we get into next weekend, a trend toward near average temperatures. Notice it would still be warmer than normal down to our south, but cooler than normal to our northwest. That typically means that we would have a cold front moving through, kind of like what we've got this weekend, kind of resetting us back to normal. We're also outlooked for near to slightly above average precipitation. So that means through that whole period, we're probably not looking at a repeatedly rainy pattern, but that at some point in that extended outlook next weekend into the start of the following week, all the way up to the end of the month there, we are outlooked for at least some rain. In fact, areas mainly south of the tri-state are even outlooked for some potential heavy rain next weekend. So I'm not convinced that it's going to be the widespread soaking rainfall that we really need, but next weekend it does seem like we may be tracking yet another chance of rain and another cool down. I'm going to scroll back up now really quickly for those of you who may have missed the timing on the rain for this weekend. So here we are. We're going to roll through this real quick here. We do have partly cloudy skies overhead right now. It's going to be mostly cloudy through the rest of this evening. Then late night, we're talking after 11 o'clock or midnight, we start to see this scattered rain pushing into the tri-state. And this is actually different from what I showed you before. So this is new data. This just updated while we've been in here, and we're kind of watching this roll in together now. Notice by early Saturday morning, we're talking 6 a.m., more widespread and potentially heavier rain starts to push in from the west and really kind of spreads across. Oh, something just fell off the desk. Kind of spreads across the tri-state as we go through Saturday morning. So first thing tomorrow, really expect soaking rain across the entire region. Again, I know that's not great news for some of the activities and stuff, 5Ks and whatnot that we have going on tomorrow morning, but it does seem like we are going to get good soaking rainfall across the tri-state Saturday morning. As we head toward the middle of the day, I think that heavier and more widespread rain will start to move out. There is still a chance of rain through the afternoon and evening, but it looks a little lighter, a little more scattered. So the second half of the day may not be as rainy, but there is still a chance of rain all the way up through Saturday evening. Then Saturday night, that rain pushes off to the southeast. The clouds will then follow and it will be sunny again by Sunday. So again, there are chances of rain through the entire day on Saturday, but the best chance of widespread soaking rain, as well as any chance of heavy rain or thunderstorms, is probably going to be Saturday morning, the second half of the day. It looks a little more scattered, but still, any outdoor plans at this point should also have a rain plan on Saturday, or if it's possible, just move it to a different day if that's something that's easy for you to do. I know there were some things planned for tomorrow that they did today when the weather was nicer, knowing that the forecast for Saturday doesn't look so great. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lyons will have another look at your forecast on 14 News tonight at 4, 5, 6, and 10. And he will do a streaming show here tonight at 9. So if you do have any questions that I wasn't able to answer for you, drop those in the comments on the Facebook video tonight at 9, and Jeff will answer those for you then. All right, everybody, enjoy the warm weather out there this evening. Stay dry tomorrow and have a great weekend.